Call this meeting of Fayette County Commissioners to order. We'll start with the pledge of allegiance to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You all have a copy of the minutes of preceding meetings. Is there any additions or corrections?
Mr. President, if no additions or corrections, I move the minutes be accepted as presented.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that the minutes of preceding meetings be approved and accepted. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. First item on the agenda is the bid opening for Bridge 61. I have the bids here if you want to open them up and announce what they are.
I have a bid from Paul H. Rowe Company Incorporated in Aurora, Indiana for Fayette County Bridge 61. The figure is $247,558.75.
I have a bid, Mr. President, from Duncan Robertson Incorporated, Franklin, Indiana. Total all unit price work is $285,700.50.
I have another bid from Hoosier Pride Excavating in Springport, Indiana. The bid is $273,898.30.
These are one.
$898.30, I think you said.
$898.30.
Okay. I think at this time we should take these under advisement, let Mr. Setoff and a representative from Butler Furman look these over and make a recommendation. Could you do that and report back during this meeting? Would that give you time?
I think we could.
Okay.
Mr. President?
I'd like to have a motion to take these bids under advisement for Mr. Setoff, a representative from Butler Furman, to look them over and make that recommendation.
So moved.
Second.
Then move in a second, we take the bids under advisement and try and get the answer at this meeting. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. This time we'll have department head reports. Mr. Havlin?
Good morning.
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 They've been busy replacing cans, trying to catch up on those. I've still got over 20 to do. They found a few more while I was off, so they've been getting them, trying to get them done. We're still working on the hill out there going to Orange. It's all broke up. They're still digging it up and replacing it. And we had some patch crews out, but when you're running two different crews, it leaves you limits the amount of people you can put out in a patch crew. So we've had one patch crew out while I've been on.
Okay.
And I'm still looking for a pickup truck for down there to replace it, and I found one, but I need to check it out real good before I decide anything on it. But I'll still look around because I want to get something with as low miles as possible, so it'll last down there.
Okay.
That's all I've had.
Okay. Thanks,
Thank you,
Jay.
sir.
Maintenance Director Bill Gray is not going to be with us. He's got a problem over in the jail. IT Director Ben?
Morning.
Morning.
As you're aware, at the last county council meeting, council approved the appropriation of funds for part-time help. So before you today, I have the job description that we have come up with for the help desk technician position. We are advertising that position already on the website. We'll hope to get that on TV3 today, and also talk to the local news outlets about getting that promoted. The full job description can be found at connersvillecommunity.com under the news section. So other than that, that's all I had this morning.
Okay. Have you, are you gonna put this job description at work 1 too as well?
I can.
Good idea.
Sure, absolutely.
Did you see the email that
I
I
did.
forwarded you?
Yeah.
When Ben and Barton and I were talking about it yesterday, I was not quite sure how we would handle that because we had funds from probation, had additional funds in user fees and community corrections, and then also 911. And so we called State Board of Accounts, and it's as long as Community Correction has okay from their grant source, which is Department of Corrections at the state, which they do, and it is an allowable use with the 911 funds, but we kind of got hung up on the probation funds and how to handle that. And he did not believe that that could be a use, nor could we just pay it over to another fund. He seemed to think that it should be paid directly out of those funds as the person works and charge off work,
Right.
you know, charge off time equally. But we're just not quite sure if that can be paid out of probation funds.
Right,
so.
and Jenna had indicated that she had talked to, I don't know who she talked to at State Board of Accounts, so I haven't had a chance to talk to her since your email yesterday.
That therein relies the problem when you have department heads calling State Board of Accounts, and I'm the one that does the financial system and sets it up, and I'm the one that's audited on it. So I just assumed that really not happen. And if that is the case, I'd like to see what her communication was and whether it was in writing, because
Sure.
that you see my
Oh, no,
my issue
absolutely.
on
No,
it.
I just-
So, because he says it really isn't allowable, so.
Sure.
Okay.
Well, we really can't hire anybody until the council approves a 144 for their salary, which is going to be the first of the month.
Right.
So we'll have 2 weeks here to get this ironed out. It might be, we just have to agree to sort of contract or whatever with probation for the help we give them for their IT work, but it will all work out one way or another.
Well, the other thing you said, Debbie, was department heads calling State Board of Accounts. Does it help if they come to you before they do that?
Yeah, I would like to be involved.
Okay. Just a word for thought.
You know, like Debbie says, Ben, she's the one that keeps the books and
Yeah, and if
and
they're just
has to
going
keep
from,
everything straight. Well, everything should go through Debbie, so everybody's on the same page.
Right.
Yeah.
Instead of them calling State Board of Accounts, and you get everything third party.
Right.
yeah.
Great.
That it, Ben?
That's it for me.
Okay.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thanks, Ben.
County Attorney, Chris?
I have nothing at this time.
Okay. Council Representative? Shirley? You're the only one here, you got any?
I'm the one here. I'm trying to recall what activity has been going on. I don't really have any additional since the last meeting when I think the two of you were in attendance.
Okay. Next item's mail.
Well, it isn't actually, it's verbal communication, I guess, rather than mail. I had received a call from a representative at Calvary Baptist Church discussing the National Day of Prayer that they have every year on the courthouse lawn on May 1st at noon. And they just wanted to be sure they had the commissioner's blessing on using the courthouse lawn and would probably start setting up about 11.
Yeah, I think we need a motion. I don't have any problem on community projects.
Sounds good to me.
Absolutely fine. Is that all the mail we have? Okay. Old business, drainage problems. Mr. Godsey.
Go get one.
Yeah, go get one.
Steve Godsey, I live out on 150 East, and you guys know the problem. I was told there's no money available, you know, so I guess the problem continues. But my problem was the last rain we had, Warren knows it, Jay didn't know it, he was on vacation or whatever the hell he was at, but it blew a 3-foot hole with a 30-inch culvert's on the south end of our property. It blew a 3-foot hole underneath the cattle panel, which I can't put a fence across there because I got a cattle panel. So it blew a 3-foot hole underneath there. The water went on down about 100 feet to the next fence we got, divides the animals out there, knocked down 20 feet of hog panel, pulled the hose post out of the ground and everything. The water went on down. I had tires stacked down there because it cut another ditch down there. We got a ditch 4 feet deep going from the road almost all the way to our pond. The water went on down. I had a bunch of tires stacked up. They put the tires in the pond. So, you guys don't do nothing. And it's not right that we get everybody else's water when there's a ditch there. And I'll tell you something else. The past 3 or 4 rains ever since Kim's husband came out there with a grade all last fall and, you know, and tried to ditch it out a little bit in front of our house to make the water go down over the hill to the bridge.
Who come out there?
Kim Boothner.
Daryl Cox.
Okay.
Anyway, so I go out there and stand in the rain every time we get a hard rain, and I take a piece of plywood and put over the 30-inch can trying to force the water to go north.
Well,
Listen.
therein lies a little problem, Steve, in you blocking up the culvert.
But I'm standing out there with it while it's running. I'm with I got a shovel out there digging in the culvert, trying to make the water go north.
By the way, you said you blocked the culvert up.
I did. I block it off so the water builds up, and then I take the shovel and dig as the water's pushing forward to the north. But every time, I don't know how many times, the highway department, whoever, has gone out there and pulled the plywood off of it.
Right.
Okay.
The culvert's in there for a purpose, Steve.
Sure it is.
You can't be blocking up the culvert to
So
stop the water.
it can run water on us. We got 2 cans out there dumping on us, destroyed a $10,000 pond. We got 25-foot willow trees growing in that pond. And cattails and everything else from all the runoff across the road. And I was told by a lawyer that you guys cannot, just because that was a shortcut to get to the river, you guys cannot run on somebody's property when there's another way for the water to get to the creek or the river. And all you guys got to do is come out there and fix 5 trees, get the trees out of the way, come out there with there's only a high spot Barton that's probably not 100 feet long. It's got to be ditched. And then the water can find its own way. As soon as it gets in front of our house, it's going downhill towards the bridge at 150 North. You got 100 feet at the most to fix. Then I hear you guys talking a while ago when I came in about some other guy out by Harrisburg, but he's got water standing in his yard. Does he have a pond that's destroyed? No, he might have a little swamp, but is that going to get fixed?
I don't think so. It's not on county property, the way I understand it.
Well, we've lived out there since 2006, you know, because you appraised it. Okay, the problem's never changed. Russ Idell, the year we moved out there, I told him that small 15-inch can to the north by our gate that goes in our field on the south of the house was collapsed, and he tried to get Howard. He got Howard Price out there. Howard said, "Hell, there ain't nothing wrong with it." They pulled it out of the ground, and it was just like squeezing a Twinkie. There was nothing left of it. Plus, it had blown there was a hole between the road and our line fence right there that was probably 4 feet deep and that big around. But Howard said, "That's no problem. So what do? They come out that, finally Russ says, you're gonna get, and that's when Russ was on the commissioners. There was one Republican and 2 Democrats. Every time he tried to get something done out there, it was yes for him, no, no for the other 2. He could get nothing else done out there. So he finally got the highway department to put that small can in. And what do when they come out there, instead of putting the big, what do you call the stone, the riprap or whatever, the big rock, instead of putting it on both ends of the new culvert, Howard comes out there with some guys and dumps gravel in there about the size of walnuts. Now what's going to happen when the water comes through there? In fact, it washed it all out. So me and my wife, we lined that new ditch that we rerouted the ditch from that new culvert that was going north. We made it go south, and Rick Isaac said, you can't do that. I said, as long as the water's got downhill, it's got gravity and it's going to run. So me and my wife, I don't know how many truckloads of cement blocks and rocks and everything that we went from the culvert down to get, winding the new ditch. But the county brought nothing out except stuff that big around and dumped it in there. And the first rain, it was gone. It's just Mickey Mouse stuff all the time. Warren came out when Jay was on vacation or whatever last week, and I showed him that can there. It blew through the fence. And today they're supposed to come out and dump the big rock in, next to on the outlet side of the 30-inch culvert to keep it from blowing out. But that ditch where that can is so close to the property line on the south. Last year, I think it was, we had Kevin Harmark come out there. We had to reroute the creek, the ditch through our field, because it was going to take out the fence on the south side. We covered up about 80 foot of ditch and dug a new one. So your guys' water from Bill Wolf and Ronnie Young and Karen up there and Jeff Jones's 100-acre field, it's on us. Now another thing, Jeff Jones's tile out there, he knows it's a problem dumping, because that one tile comes out of the field, dumps into that 15-inch culvert, and it's just got a straight shot right through it. So I told Jeff on the phone the other day, he's got a backhoe. I'm gonna pay him to reroute that one tile to the north to get it past that culvert. Then it can go down the hill. So that eliminates part of the problem. That's my money. I'm paying for that. And all you guys got to do is fix a 100-foot of ditch and the whole damn problem's solved.
Okay.
When was the pond put in?
2006. And it's about, if you walked in it, you probably wouldn't get the top of your boots wet, except when it floods. It rained so much the last time, the water went clear to the top of the dam into the cornfield. That's it.
Mr. Sudoff, you want to address the problem situation?
I've gone out there several times and talked with Steve about the whole situation. And I believe it'd take a 3-foot bottom ditch about 1.5 feet deep to take all the water from the 2 culverts down over that hill. And that would involve maybe 20 foot from the edge of pavement over into the Jones side of the property on the east side. And that would involve about 1,000 foot of road work and clean up the trees along there. And then we have a field entrance down there by the bridge. It's only an 18-inch diameter culvert that wouldn't take the water there. So I've given you the drawings of what I've measured and the situation. There is also a telephone line there is buried on that side. That's probably 1 inch in diameter, good size. So it would probably have to be moved or buried deeper. That would take a lot of expense to do it that way. I think it's more than 100 foot at that hump there to take it down to the bridge.
To clarify, when you're talking about road, and we discussed this just prior to the drainage board meeting this morning, Mr. Hamlin said that a lot of those trees that would be taken out more than the 20 feet or so. probably have roots underneath the road, and when you go to take the stumps out, you're probably going to compromise the road. Is that correct?
It's a possibility that the stumps would damage the road if they're taken out improperly, but you'd have to have a bulldozer probably to do it. Well, they about foot, 18 inches.
There's pretty good sized trees down through there.
A 3-foot ditch would be an awful deep ditch. Right.
3 foot wide at the bottom and 1.5 feet deep to get the same area volume as a 36-inch culvert and a 18-inch combined.
So what you're saying is the 100-foot, you don't think is gonna address the problem? If you take the 100-foot and fix it, the way it's been said, it's not gonna fix it.
Not properly, I don't think. You still have washouts and be close to the road. And it'd be nice to have a 4-foot shoulder and then the ditch, and then go back up. And then it's a back slope is, I didn't do any elevations on the back slope, so we'd have to talk with the Jones family about getting outside the existing right-of-way probably. So to do that, to get a 3-to-1 slope where at the best.
So you're saying there really is no good solution to it?
Well, it's a solution I would recommend to Steve is putting in erosion control, check dams and silt
Excuse me, let me say
collection
something.
areas.
Let me say something. Okay, we put in retention ponds at the top of the hill, okay?
Okay.
Okay, what happens in a year when they're filled? Then we gotta pay somebody to dig them out again. But we're getting everybody else's water because of a ditch that you guys can't remove about 6 or 7 trees, and I don't see why you need the ditch. I mean, 4 feet from the road, when you go to some of these other county roads and the ditch is right at the edge of it, like the corner of 450, and you know where it's at.
Yeah.
Where you're trying to go to Donnie Myers' house.
Yeah.
That's right on the edge. Why does our road have to be like they're building a highway down by, just because they built it nice down there by the new bridge? Why does it have to be that way up there? Because you don't do it that way in any other part of the county. Jeff said them trees, he said it was up to him. If somebody wanted to come in there and take every one of them out, it wouldn't bother him a bit. He don't care.
Well, I talked to Jeff and he said he'd allow us to put
Lay
them
him
out
in
in
the
his
field.
field and he'd take care of
And
it.
Jenkins
But it had
said-
to be for crops or after
James,
crops.
yeah, that's the same deal I got into with Goban for 2
Hey, Jay.
years.
Jay, if hypothetical, how much is it gonna cost us to do the 100-foot that he's talking about? If it don't work, then that's the end of the discussion. We're not gonna go in and dig a 3-foot trench and tear up the whole road.
You don't need to.
Not went out there and Warren went out there and checked it. I don't know if that digging just 100-foot will cure it or not.
Well, what I'm saying
You
is-
gotta turn
the thing
that
of it
water
is,
up there
though,
that big can.
you know, if the engineers don't think it's gonna solve the problem, there's no, you know, they're the experts to tell us what to do. If it won't solve the problem, there's no need to do it.
So, there's only one other way, guys. If that ditch ain't fixed, Fayette County is going to court. Then we're gonna see what's going on.
That's your cue, because now we're done.
That's your call, because push 5 trees out of the way, lay them in the field, try to get the grate hole or get a backhoe out there that's got some hydraulic pressure to try to get the water, so I don't have to go out there with a garden shovel and plug the culvert up and try to make the water run to the north.
Well, plugging up the culvert, it does not seem to be like the solution.
I was using the water as, just like washing off your driveway, Barker. You know, taking
I understand.
taking your water hose or washing your car, trying to make the water eat some of the dirt out so I wouldn't have to do it.
I would advise the Fayette County Commissioners, because in certain light of certain things that, and I don't mean to say this towards you, and I apologize, I understand your frustration, but once you say that you're gonna sue us, I think we're pretty much done with the conversation.
Whatever.
Then you have to handle it from here,
You
because,
got it, boys. It's a bunch of crap.
sorry, but
Mr. Sudoff, you can continue looking and see if there is a solution that will fix the problem and let us know.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll see what we can do.
Very much.
Okay.
That's no win.
New business.
New business.
Kirby Risk, which has a business up in the industrial park, contacted me, and they're wanting to remodel that facility they have up there, and at a cost of $175,000 to $250,000, a major project. But if they do that, they feel like that they should own the ground. That part of the industrial park is owned by the county commissioners. All those people have long-term leases, which they pay, I think, $1 a year to get. Kirby Risk lease is up in 2057, which is a considerable amount of time.
Both has no lifespan.
So if we do want to entertain the motion or entertain the idea of transferring title to them, and there has been a lot of talk, possibly all those places up there ought to own that ground. We really get nothing out of it. There's two ways we can do it. As I see it, Chris might tell us different. One, if we sell it, we have to have it appraised by 2 appraisers and sell it for not less than the average of those 2, right?
Yes. Or you can sell or relet it to a nonprofit organization, like the Economic Development Group, and have them give it to that.
You know, realistically, the present day value of that ground, bid you could get no, bid you couldn't do anything with it for 43 years, is not going to be very much. I have talked to the Economic Development Group, and they will, we could pass it to them with the agreement that they pass it on to Kirby Risk as a economic development project, because they're going to spend this much money. So whatever the 2 commissioners think, other 2 commissioners think we should sell it, or how we should sell it, or
I think it's appropriate. If they're going to put up to $250,000 investment in it, we're recouping a whole $1 a year. Okay, we're not out anything. Plus, it's to their advantage and our advantage to encourage them to spend that money. So I'd be in favor of it going to Economic Development Group. They will pass it on to them for a pittance, and we'll go from there.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, before you can do that, we'll need an ordinance with the legal description of the property.
Well, we could pass that this morning, subject to you writing out the ordinance, could we not?
Yes, we could.
Well, I'm in agreement to economic development, because I think the company it should be their property. Not a big proponent of government having a whole lot of property, so yeah, I think it's a great deal, and they're going to put that much money into it. We want to promote business in Fayette County. We want everybody to thrive, because it helps the county and the citizens, so I don't see why we shouldn't.
If I can, I think it would, about all those properties, and some of them are leased to the commissioners, some to Fayette County Industrial Development. It's all over the board. But the problem we have as far as tracking it for taxation purposes is that because those are leases and it's not really a deed, then it ends up bypassing like the assessor's office or the auditor's office, because there's no sales disclosure on anything that the assessor's office would pick up, and there's no deed to transfer. So we are kind of in the dark on some of these properties, and they're slipping past us. We just recently had to go back because one had been leased to a not-for-profit. We assumed that they were still using it. Well, then it was a sublease of a sublease or whatever to a for-profit. So then we had to go in and backbill for 2013. So it would sure solve a lot of problems in the assessor's office and in my office. if something could be done about all those.
These leases have been transferred, so that this Kirby Risk has been transferred several times. So we could go ahead and take care of this and then work on what we
Getting the
need, what we need to do about the others, so.
Mr. President, I will move to transfer the property owned by the county that's being leased to Kirby Risk to the Economic Development Group, pending the written ordinance and review by our county attorney.
And subject to them agreeing to spend the 175 to 250,000.
Yes, sir.
I'll second that.
Been moved and seconded that we approve an ordinance be drawn up by our county attorney to transfer the Kirby Risk property to economic development with the stipulation that they transfer this back to Kirby Risk on their when their remodeling is started or completed. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Chris, here is a copy that at least John Baker's got too, but he's probably lost them too. And that's the lease and has the legal description in it.
Okay.
Okay? Proclamation of the month of the young child. We got, I don't think there's anybody here representing them. We've got a letter addressed to the Fayette County Board of Commissioners. From the Whitewater Valley Chapter of the Indiana Association for the Education of the Young Children. And what it says is, whereas the Whitewater Valley Chapter of the Indiana Association for the Education of Young Children Incorporated and other local organizations in conjunction with the National Association for the Education of Young Children are celebrating the month of the young child through April. And whereas these organizations are working to improve early learning opportunities which are crucial to the growth and development of young children and building better futures for everyone in Indiana. And whereas all young children and their families deserve access to high-quality early education and care, and whereas it is important to recognize and support the people, programs, and policies committing to high-quality early childhood education and care. Now therefore, the Fayette County Board of Commissioners of Fayette County do hereby proclaim April 2014 as Month of the Young Child in Fayette County, and encourage all citizens to duly note this occasion. That sounds proper to me, that we should support the young people. I would entertain a motion that we adopt that proclamation.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that the commissioners do sign a proclamation adopting, proclaiming April 24th, April of 2014 as Month of the Young Child in Fayette County. Did we vote on
You
this?
second it? Yeah.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Beauty Corrections copier, Michelle Dudley.
If you need me to copy, how'd you copy this?
That's why you see the
Right.
black marks on it. You know why we need a new copier. Our copier is out of the maintenance agreement, and you can see by the copies I provided to you, it puts black marks on everything, so we're having to send it to the small printers, court papers and such. The state bid on the Ricos is $4,142, and the other sheet that you have compares for other machines, the lowest being $5,260.80. So I'd like to go with the Rico on the state bid.
Now, what about the maintenance agreement on that then, Michelle?
On the Rico,
Yeah.
it's included in the bid.
It's included in the 4,000 something?
The maintenance agreement's like $25 a month.
Is that like ours, or,
Yeah,
okay, I couldn't remember whether ours was a RICO or not.
You
Maintenance
got-
agreement, $25 against these other people wanting 2,000, that's something.
no one can come close to state bids on anything. And they're charging .005 cents per copy, and we run at least 5,000 copies a month.
I thought you
No, wait a
said it
minute.
was 41, 42.
It is, but if we go over,
Okay.
It's a half a cent per copy.
no, it's
Maintenance price.
.005. So it's $25.56 per month is the maintenance agreement.
So the 4142 is purchase of the copier, and I assume X number of copies for free? And then
Yes.
if you go over that limit?
If we go over 7,500,
Okay.
then we'd have to
And
pay
you use
the,
how many, you said?
we're averaging 5,000 a month.
So you got a 2,500 cushion there?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Right.
And that's a 5-year plan. I had them down to check the reason it was making the black marks. And there's some kind of film on a drum that you have to replace the whole thing, and to fix it will be over $1,000. And you're still out of your maintenance.
It's not just a cleaning situation then.
No, the film's tore.
So if you're past your maintenance agreement, it's probably over 5 years old then? The
Yes.
existing one?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, this is a no-brainer on, it seems to me like with the pricing of the state bid against these others.
This comes out of your budget?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. President, I move to approve.
Second.
Been moved and seconded
State bid.
to approve the proposed state bid for the RICO copier. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are we missing anything, Debbie?
We need to have Warren and Mike Walker.
Are they back?
They're still downstairs. Unless you want
Well, we'll go on with the rest of this stuff and then see if we're in. Is there any patrons' concerns?
to see if there was something I had to bring up with you.
If not,
Pardon? I do have a patron concern. Do you want me to get up there, or
Yeah.
can I speak from here? We personally have experienced some damage to our fields and woods by people driving four-wheelers, or maybe three-wheelers, but trespassing late at night. And it's become a problem talking to other neighbors, going across ground that doesn't belong to them, It's posted no trespassing. One particular time, we even called and had the sheriff's office respond. But I know that there has been some discussion about allowing the use of four-wheel drive vehicles, or, I'm not even sure what the correct terminology
ATVs
is.
and quads on county roads.
On county roads. And I'm not certain, I don't want to get into that discussion, but certainly the idea that people can just take off across country on these four-wheelers, it's causing crop damage to the woods and the forest. And again, I don't know what can be done, but I'd ask that you consider that when you're taking under advisement whether or not to let them drive on the roads instead of through people's properties.
I don't know whatever we do about driving on the roads, one way or another is going to solve your problem or
No,
help your
no,
problem.
I don't know either. And, you can put up a fence, but the idea of them people going through or around, that doesn't really solve the problem either.
Right.
Well, I'm a proponent of actually having that ordinance where they can drive on the road, but there are stipulations that the bugs have to be worked out. I mean, you have to be over the age of 16, you You have to have a valid driver's license. You can't let a 10-year-old run up and down the county roads with no license on a quad. The quads are going to have to be plated, and the sheriff's department will have, full authority to do whatever. So, I mean, it's something we're looking into, but I think it's something we might ought to consider at some point.
I-
But again, as I say, I don't think that's gonna, whatever you do is not gonna solve the
It may
problem.
not gonna solve the
It surely
problem.
has, because they don't have a license right on the road now, but they're getting to you.
That's- And certainly, I don't think these are youngsters under 16 that are causing this problem. I mean, these are adults out there and just all over the place with absolutely no concern about where the property lines are, or they might be going through a just plowed field, or new trees planted, been destroyed. So, just like you to take that under advisement as well.
Okay, we will.
Thank you.
Need approval of the claims and the payroll.
Mr. President, I'll move to approve the claims payroll, but I do have a comment, if I may.
Okay.
The treasurer's office contracted with L&D Mailmasters, Inc. to assist with the tax statements and mailing of those tax statements. It wasn't done according to procedure. That should have been approved by the commissioners. Even though it's a verbal commitment, it's still something we should have reviewed. So I will move to go ahead and approve the payrolls and vouchers as presented, with the caveat that this is a one-time thing.
Right, all claims in the future that are not brought before the commissioners basically will be denied.
Yes.
I'll second that motion.
Then moved and seconded, we approve the claims and the payroll with the stipulations that's been stated. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We do want to get the approval for the bridge that was where we got the bids this morning. So at this time, I think we'll take a recess for a few minutes until Mr. Sudoff and Butler Firm get back with their recommendation. I see Mr. Sudoff is back. We'll call the meeting back to order. Mr. Sudoff, do you have a recommendation on the
Yeah, I-
contracts?
I recommend the low bidder, Rao,
Okay.
Rowe, of Paul H. Rowe Company, Aurora, Indiana, $247,558.75. We went through the documents and found them to be correct, and
In order.
yeah, we added the amounts up and didn't find any errors.
Okay.
So I need to have you sign the documents for acceptance.
Well, we need a motion to do that before we
Yeah.
do.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded, we accept the recommendation of Mr. Sudoff to award the contract to Paul H. Road Company. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We'll get these submitted.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's all the items we have on our agenda. Again, is there any patrons' concerns? Anybody want to say anything before we adjourn the meeting? If not, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded, this meeting of the Fayette County Commission is being adjourned. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, meeting adjourned.
You gentlemen and lady in the back.